Okay, let's begin. My name is Keith Bowise, and I hold the role of a senior software engineer, and I'm based in London. You met my colleague earlier on, Cheng Luo, and I work with him, alongside him, in developer relations. I'm really excited to be here at MWC. It's my first time attending MWC, and also it's my first time in the fabulous city of Barcelona. So my job today is to have you leave this auditorium with an understanding of what is AllShare and the AllShare Framework. So let's begin. The table of contents which I'm going to discuss today is as follows. First of all, I'm going to introduce what is the AllShare Framework. And in doing so, I'm going to go through a number of the key features, the main use cases of this service: media share, screen share, and control share. At this point, one of my colleagues will join me on the stage, and he will actually perform a demonstration detailing how control share can be used in an application. We'll then rejoin the presentation, and we'll look at how to develop main features for the AllShare framework. Now, this section of the presentation is geared towards the developers in the room. Those of you who are not developers, I'll warn you now that there is a small amount of code in there, but fear not, it's just a small amount. Then comes the big sell. Why should you use the AllShare framework? Why, as developers, you should care about AllShare and the AllShare framework? So it's my job to sell it to you. We'll then close the presentation by looking at AllShare-enabled applications and what you should do as consumers and also as developers in making use of the AllShare icons that appear in the applications for a consistent look and feel. So let's begin. What I'm going to do is play to you a short video that will help you visualize what is AllShare before we delve into the details. So let's begin with the video. So, I hope you agree. AllShare is pretty exciting stuff. And this is your opportunity to get involved very early with this technology. So now, let's describe to you what is the AllShare framework. The AllShare framework consists of a series of use cases which allow you to converge your media across multiple screens. Now, the media in question is typically your own media, or it can be existent in a local network. What you can do, you can seek out media on your local device or on a remote device, and you can stream that to a large screen. What I'm going to do is explain to you these four main use cases, which can be subcategorized into two categories. So first of all, I'm going to describe displaying content on a smart TV. Now, the first use case is media share. Media share allows you to stream content from the small screen to the large screen. What this relies upon is that both devices are existent on the same Wi-Fi network. So if you imagine you have a Samsung Smart TV and either a mobile device such as a smartphone or a tablet, you can actually select the media file to be displayed and select an alternate player such as a smart TV and have the media streamed in real time to that large smart screen TV. If we talk briefly now about screen share describes mirroring. What we can do with this form of AllShare is what we see on the small screen, we can mirror to the large screen. So this could be the displaying of a photo or the playing of a video. This will be mirrored in real time to the large screen. If we move on to controlling a smart TV now, we have another form of screen share, but this time we refer to it as dual screen mode. Now, this is actually quite exciting, and it was shown briefly within the short video clip there. What this allows you to do is split the user interface across two screens. So the mobile phone, the mobile device, acts as a controller, and the action is played out on the large screen. Now, this actually makes for quite an immersive, unique user experience, and if you've ever not yet tried this, I encourage you to do so. And last but not least is control share. Control share is where we can actually utilize the mobile device to act as a smart TV controller, and we'll see later on in the presentation what we can do with this. So what we have here now is a layered architecture of the AllShare Framework. The AllShare Framework exists to open up to you as developers all the features, the use cases which I've just described, for you to embed within your applications. At the top of this stack here, we can see third-party applications that utilize the AllShare APIs. It's not only third-party applications that can utilize these APIs. Within our devices, such as the Galaxy S3 and also the Galaxy Note 10.1 and other Galaxy Note devices, we have embedded applications which utilize the AllShare Framework, such as the music player, also the video player. When we come onto the coding section, we'll see that the APIs are not scary to use. They're pretty simple and straightforward. So underneath the APIs, we have the framework service. Now, what's contained in here is all the necessary functionality that allows for the runtime execution of the AllShare Framework service. So these are things such as event management, device discovery, and device configuration. Underneath the framework service, we have the core. Now, this is where Samsung, for you developers, have performed all the hard work and all the heavy lifting of integrating all the various protocols upon which the AllShare Framework service sits. So this is like Miracast and DNLA, and also some of our Samsung proprietary Wi-Fi protocols. Now, all of these levels sit on top of the platform. Now, currently, AllShare is available for the Android platform. So to develop for AllShare, you have to program in Java. But I've been reliably informed that we're looking to bring AllShare to other platforms. So there will be a PC client for Windows 8. There'll also be a client for Windows Phone 8. And I've also been told that there will be AllShare available on Tizen in the near future. Thank you. Right, so where do you go to get started with AllShare? You go to developer.samsung.com/AllShare Framework. This is an area on the developer side which is specifically there to give you all the information to get you up and started with AllShare. You can get the SDK as a download, and there's also many, many technical documentations which will help you in terms of getting started. There's a programming guide, and there's also a testing guide. Also worth noting is the forum. If you pose questions on the forum, there is expert advice available who will be able to answer your questions and turn the answers to your questions around very quickly. Right, so what I'm going to do now is going to delve in a bit more in detail to the main features which I've highlighted at the beginning of the presentation. So we're going to start with displaying content on a smart TV. So, media share, streaming content. Now, the way this works is that all the devices should sit or be connected to a common Wi-Fi network. When you select the media content to be displayed on a larger screen, you are still in full control of that content. So whilst the video is playing, for example, say, you can perform functions such as stop, pause, and resume. If you are displaying a photo on a large screen, you still have control over the photo and you can perform actions such as zoom, pan, and rotation. We have a small video here which demonstrates this.
Not only can you play videos saved in your smartphone on a tablet or a big screen TV.
Very short video. Right, let's have a talk about screen share and in particular twin screen mode. As I mentioned earlier on, twin screen mode allows you to mirror or screencast the contents of the small screen to a large screen. Now, latest model Samsung smart TVs from, say, 2012 and those manufactured this year will have all the necessary hardware and software integrated into the TV to allow this mirroring to take effect. If you're not lucky enough to own the latest and greatest Samsung smart TV, you can still take advantage of screen share by making use of a device called an AllShare dongle. This is essentially a small Wi-Fi dongle that fits into the HDMI port of your flat screen TV. So this opens up the screen share and in particular the twin screen mode to non-Samsung smart TVs also. So that's worth bearing in mind. And again, we have another short video which demonstrates this.
But you can also view photos taken with a camera, phone, tablet, or other devices on a smart TV at once.
Okay, now let's look at controlling a smart TV. Dual screen mode. What this allows us to do is split the user experience and the user interface across two screens. We saw in the video illustration at the beginning the young child playing the car racing game. This is an example of screen share making use of dual screen mode. The mobile device performs the action of a controller, controlling the action played out on the extended screen. To use this form of technology makes use of a Wi-Fi direct connection between the mobile device and the large screen. Making use of Wi-Fi direct, we can take advantage of the high data rates which allow us to transfer the entire screen images which are shown on the large screen. So as we see here in this animation, each screen is individually transmitted in real time to the large screen. Now this is done with very little latency, hardly noticeable at all, so it doesn't affect the game playing experience. Control share. Control share allows you to utilize the mobile device to take the action of a smart TV controller. So in addition to basic functionality such as channel selection, volume up and down, we can also control a game. Now, this particular game here is created by Gameloft, and the TV game actually resides in Samsung apps when you visit Samsung apps through the TV portal. Currently, the game can be controlled with a TV remote control, a standard infrared remote control. We've actually done some work now such that this game can now be controlled by the mobile device over Wi-Fi. So this leads me to the point whereby we're actually going to perform a demonstration for you now. So we're going to demonstrate how this game in Samsung apps can actually be controlled using a smart device. So I'd like to welcome to the stage my colleague Jung, who's going to prepare the game for us to play. Currently, the communication is unidirectional, meaning that control information is sent between the mobile device and the large screen TV. As the framework evolves, we intend to make this bidirectional, such that information can be sent back from the TV to the remote, to the smart device. So if you could imagine the use case whereby, whilst driving, you may hit the wall, we can send information back to the mobile device, which will allow the mobile device to invoke its vibration to give you some feedback during gameplay. Now, currently, Jung is actually driving the car, making use of manual mode. Chung can now demonstrate how we can move to sensor mode. So now we're actually driving the car using the accelerometer. So for the developers in the room, I hope this sparks your imagination that this is new and really we could do with, you guys to come up with something really unique and sort of take advantage and be a real early bird with this technology. So thank you, Jung. Let's return back to the presentation. Thank you for your great demonstration. Right, developers. If you're going to develop for AllShare, there are things which you need to consider. If you're looking to create a control share application, as the one we've just seen demonstrated, you need to know that typically this relies upon there being a mobile application and also a TV application. So you may find that you will be creating a mobile application to interface with an already existing TV application. The data that is sent between the mobile device and the smart screen TV is typically only control data, and it's sent in bursts which are sporadic in nature. This technology makes use of either Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi Direct. Now, conversely, if you're looking to make use of screen share, this typically requires that all the development takes place on the mobile device. And as I explained earlier on, Wi-Fi Direct is utilized in order to take advantage of the high data rate to send the multiple screens in high definition to the large screen, smart screen TV. So considerations for yourself, dependent on which route you wish to take in developing your AllShare application. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through a very simple use case, and there'll be some code in here, which basically shows how we can realize media share. The code is only small snippets, and it's just to show you developers that it's not really difficult to get the basics up and running very quickly. So what we're going to do, we're going to perform a scenario whereby media, which is currently on a tablet device, is going to be streamed to our smart TV. So what we need to do, we need to have the mobile device seek out and locate a device that is capable of accepting the streamed media. Now, in order to make use of the AllShare Framework service, the first thing which we need to do, or your application needs to do, is to connect to the service. Now, in order to do this, we need to make use of something called the Service Connector class, which is a static class which will be available to you in your application once you've included all the necessary Java libraries. Using this Service Connector class, we can call a public method createServiceProvider, which will return to us in an asynchronous callback the onCreated method, a service provider object. This service provider object forms like the gatekeeper into the AllShare Framework service. Through this service provider option, service provider object, we can get at all the functionality we need to. Now, in this scenario, we have media being played on a tablet device. The tablet device needs to become aware of any smart TVs or large screen devices capable of accepting the streamed media. So using the service provider object, we're going to call a method called getDeviceFinder. This will allow us to create a device finder object. The device finder object will allow us to seek out devices capable of accepting the stream. So with our device finder object, we can call getDevices and pass an argument device AV player. This is a particular type of AllShare device that is capable of playing audio and video. What is returned from this method call is a list, an array list of device types meeting this criteria. So all the AV players within the same common Wi-Fi network will be returned in a list, AV player list. Now, the illustration above shows that 2 devices meeting this criteria have been returned in the AV list. What we're doing in the code snippet there is that we are taking the first instance returned to us in the list, and we are assigning this to mSelected AV player. This is the player that we're going to select to receive the streamed media from the mobile tablet. Now, the UI consequence of this is that the user will be presented with a list from which to make the selection. However, before the media can start to stream, we need to provide information of the media that we intend to stream. So what we need to do, we need to create an item object. Now, before we can create an item object, we need to create a builder object. A builder object describes the media that is to be passed to the smart screen TV to be played. So here we're specifying that we're going to be streaming a video file called myvideo.avi, and we also specify its MIME type. With this new builder object, we can call build on this builder object to create something called an item object. This is the item which we will play. On the selected AV player, which we selected earlier on, we simply pass the item as an argument to the play method, and immediately following this, the streamed media will now appear in real time on the large smart screen TV. Now, I think you'll agree with me, that wasn't difficult coding, it's pretty logical. So what we're trying to emphasize here is that the AllShare framework is very accessible to you developers, and you should take advantage of it. Okay, so now let's have a look at a very trivial coding example which will show us how to realize screen share, twin screen mode. So if you recall, twin screen mode is where we perform mirroring or casting of the small screen to the large screen. Now, in order to perform this functionality, we need to get an instance of something called a screencast manager. This object will manage the screencasting from the small screen to the large screen, and also the selection of what device you will utilize to perform the screencasting. Again, we're making use of the service provider object, which we obtained very early on, to get an instance of the screen manager object. Once we have the screen manager object, we can simply set the mode in which we wish to perform the screencasting. And here we set the screen mode to be twin. After we perform that stage, the last stage to perform is Activate Manager UI. So what this will do, this will then present to the user a list of compatible smart screen devices that are capable of performing the casting. Now, in the illustration shown, 2 entries appear, and both of them are referred to as dongles with a unique ID. This would be the representation which would be shown if your TV is making use of the AllSharecast dongle, which I mentioned earlier on, which is the third-party utility produced by Samsung, which connects to the HDMI port of your non-Samsung Smart TV or your Samsung Smart TV, which does not include the necessary casting functionality. If you did have a Samsung Smart TV with the necessary inbuilt casting functionality, in the illustration there we would see Samsung TV, which upon selection would allow the casting to begin. Okay, so now the big sell. Why should you as developers care for AllShare, and why should you develop for the AllShare framework? Now, I'm sure it's not gone unnoticed, but Samsung is #1 for smartphones. There are lots of Galaxy S3s out there, Note 2s out there, Note 1s out there. All of these devices come equipped with the AllShare framework embedded within them. Again, not going to notice, Samsung is #1 for LED, LCD smart TVs. Now, from 2009, all of Samsung smart TVs are compatible with the AllShare framework. So the point I'm trying to make here is, to you as developers, a lot of equipment is out there in the marketplace to take advantage of this functionality. Your consumers are already prepared, have what is required in place to utilize your forthcoming AllShare applications. Another key benefit to you as developers is that we have done all the necessary heavy lifting and hard work in integrating all the various protocols into our devices, so you don't have to. So typically, it could take you, talented developers, maybe a day to integrate, making use of third-party source code, DNLA and mirrorcast features. You don't have to do that. We've done it for you. Another key benefit is the completely, flexible testing approach that we provide through our SDK. It is possible to test your AllShare framework applications utilizing a real mobile device and a real TV, a real smart TV. However, at Samsung, we appreciate not everybody can afford a very expensive Samsung Smart TV. That's why the Eclipse environment allows us to simulate a smart TV. So if you have a real phone, you can simulate streaming to a smart TV using the Eclipse SDK. But it doesn't stop there. If you don't have a smartphone, you can do this totally simulated by making use of an Android virtual device, and you can simulate the smartphone and the smart TV. So this solution gives you a total flexible solution so you can realize your applications with minimal startup cost. So now I'm going to welcome to the stage my colleague Mihao. And what he's going to do, he's going to demonstrate how the Eclipse SDK can be utilized with a real mobile device to stream content between the mobile device and the simulated TV. Thank you, Mihao.
Thank you, Keith. So I'm going to demonstrate the capabilities of the AllShare Framework SDK and the possibilities the SDK brings to you, to the developers. Since AllShare Framework SDK, it is just an Eclipse plugin, we have to start Eclipse first. The only dependency we have is the Google's Android development toolkit installed, and that's it. Together with AllShare SDK, there is a new perspective delivered. The perspective is dedicated for simulators, and it is called Simulator Perspective. Inside this perspective, we have 4 devices simulators. So first, there is a media provider. It is just a source of your media files. Then we have the AV player, which is the simulator of the audio-video player device. Then we have the image viewer simulator, which is used for displaying images. And finally, the TV web browser simulator, which is simulating the web browser running on a Samsung Smart TVs. For the demo purpose, I will present the image viewer simulator. Okay, simulator is up and running. That means that at this moment it is fully operational. It behaves like a real Samsung TV. And from the network point of view, there is no difference between this simulator device and the real hardware TV. To prove it, I'm going to use a smartphone. The smartphone is connected to the same network as my laptop. And here is the sample application presenting the connection. So what we have here is the picture we would like to show on the device simulator. And additionally, in the upper left corner, there is an icon of AllShare. This icon is white at the moment. That means that the application has connected to the service, but not yet connected to any device. The number 2 informs us that there are 2 AllShare-enabled devices in the network, and this is true because there is a simulator and this smart TV. So now I will press the icon. On the list, we can see both devices, and after choosing the device, we can see that the picture is being displayed on the simulator. The icon also has changed a bit. Now it is blue, and this is the confirmation that indeed we have connected to the device. It is also possible to make some useful manipulations on the device, on the picture, such as the zoom and rotation. And in addition to this demo, this application is going to be used as the sample application, so it can be found on the Samsung developers webpage. The sources will be opened, so it is a good reference for starting. And together with the SDK and especially the simulators, it seems that writing AllShare applications is quite simple now. And what is important, you don't even have to be the owner of the hardware. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you, and passing to you.
Thank you, Miha.
Thank you.
I should just add that it wasn't immediately apparent when the cameraman was focused on the mobile device, but when he actually performed the zooming in on the simulated TV in real time, the same image was scaled by the same amount. So when you perform an action, using media share, you get a real-time representation on the large screen. And again, just to reiterate, that mobile device application will be provided through Samsung developer website. So, for you as developers, there's a good starting point, a reference application, which you can take, utilize with the Eclipse SDK to get up and running to see how this technology works. Okay, what I want to talk to you about briefly now is AllShare icons in two forms, really. First of all, we saw in the demonstration just previously shown there that when the AllShare service was actually up and running, but not connected to another device, that the AllShare icon was actually represented in white. However, when he made a connection to the smart screen TV, the indicator went to blue. Now, we understand that a number of developers out there can utilize or sort of give deviations on the design of the AllShare icon in their application. What we're doing at Samsung is that we're going to give you all of these icons as resources, such that all AllShare applications can have a consistent look and feel. And we think it's best practice that if people get used to associating the various colors of the AllShare icons with various states of their application, it will make this community grow, and people will become it'll be very intuitive of how to interact with an AllShare application. So the important thing is, blue is when you are connected to another device. You as developers can select either black or white when the service is simply up and running. The icons which are displayed in the lower half of the screen give an indication of typically the number of alternate devices which are available for you to connect to. So if you recall when we did the device discovery, when we searched for AV players, we could have ordinarily searched for any type of other AllShare device. The number shown in the illustration there is a number of the capable devices meeting your request. Now, the number there is not static, it's dynamic. So, for example, if at the point where you issued your search for a particular device type, there were, say, 2 devices meeting that requirement, as and when another device enters into the network, these numbers will be dynamically updated to always give you a true, up-to-date indication of the number of available devices to meet your request. So, in summary, I'm hoping that you will come away from here today with an understanding of what is AllShare and the AllShare Framework. To summarize, we went over 4 main use cases: media share, which is the streaming of photos and videos from typically small screen devices to large screen devices, sharing a common Wi-Fi network. We looked at screen share, in particular twin screen mode, which is the mirroring of the small screen to the large screen, be it photo or, again, even video. And then we looked at controlling a smart TV using the dual screen mode of screen share. And this is where we split the user experience and the UI across the small screen and an extended screen, typically a large screen. And using Wi-Fi Direct, we continuously transmit data between the mobile device and the smart screen device, the large screen device. And last but not least, control share. This is where we can use the mobile device as a smart TV controller, and in addition to controlling basic functionality such as TV selection and channel selection and volume, it can also be used to control a game. Again, please visit the developer site and download the SDK, read through the documentation, and start entering any questions that you may have on the forum. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and I hope that you have an understanding of what is AllShare now, and it's maybe sparked your imagination with some ideas that you can get in there, be an early bird with this technology and create that next killer application. Thank you very much for your time.